nextTalk contains content of a mature nature. Parental guidance is advised.
Welcome to nextTalk Radio with Mandy and Kim on AM 630, The Word. Mandy is the author of Talk, and Kim is the director of nextTalk, a nonprofit organization helping parents cyberparent through open communication. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Find our video series and subscribe to our weekly podcast at nexttalk.org. Are you ready for the Next Talk?
Today we're talking about phone monitoring apps. I will tell you, because I think I have the younger kids on the team, I get asked this all the time.
I get asked it at events all the time, like Q&A, like what's the best one that you recommend?
Just tell me where to sign up.
Yeah,
I need an app.
It's a good question.
Device.
We're all,
yes.
because we're all grasping at straws. Like, How do we keep our kids safe?
Well, I think we all want every tool possible, and this is a big one.
Yes. Well, and I think we kind of need to go back to, before we even dive into the phone monitoring apps, because we're really going to talk about the loopholes in them, like things you just need to know.
Absolutely.
Because they are great tools, but they're not going to catch everything.
Right.
And so I think that's kind of what we want to cover on this show. Like, what could you be missing from the phone monitoring apps? But before we dive into that, I kind of want to go back to, when I gave my child a phone, and that was like 5 years ago now. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's crazy to think, but she's in high school now and she's had it for 5 years. So I wanted to, you guys know my story. I first wanted to think, I'm just not giving her a phone until she's 18.
Right.
And then we're done. And that's going to solve all the issues. Well, that didn't solve anything because she was told about porn.
Yeah.
And she was told about all these things that I wasn't prepared to answer. So I realized that really wasn't the solution. But when I gave her a phone, then I wanted to be all up in it. I want everything to come through on my phone, And in reality, let me tell you this, they send 500 emojis a day. Yeah. Really. I mean, 800 million
and that's
sometimes.
With the poop emoji and the fruit and the vegetables.
Well, and sometimes you don't know what the emojis mean. There's like code for something. So if you're Googling every 500 of those, you're going to be sitting at your computer all day long. What is eggplant? What is this? What is that?
We do have things to do. You cannot spend hours a day monitoring your kids' phone. That's not practical.
I mean, we can't.
Even though you want to.
We can't.
It's not practical.
And so there's that aspect of it. But then I couldn't find a product on the market that would do everything I needed it to do. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. And so, I set out on this journey, like, what is the solution then? Mm-hmm. Like, I need a solution here. Mm-hmm. And we all know that. It was open communication, found in Deuteronomy 6, 6, and 7. And I love how God says it in those verses. It says, talk to your kids on the go, when you're getting up, when you're going to bed, and when you're at home. Yeah. And when I read on the go, like, I knew I had found the solution I was looking for, because I had been on the journey long enough to know that my daughter liked to talk in the car. Mm-hmm. Because she didn't have to make eye contact with me. Mm-hmm. And quite frankly, I like to talk in the car because I could hide my emotions a little bit more about what I was freaking out about.
As my kids say, Mom, you're giving the look.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And so, we want to preface this show with the first line of defense is the open communication. It is
always.
It is going to catch everything. Like, if you can train your child to tell you what they're seeing online, when they hear a new word at school, when they hear something at the school lunch table, when they go to a friend's house and they're shown something online, if you can train your child to tell you all those things, then you get to speak into it. Mm-hmm. And so that is the first line of defense.
Yes.
Because if it's a normal operating procedure, hopefully it won't slip through the cracks because they'll come tell you.
They will come tell you everything.
So I just want to preface this show before we get into the phone monitoring apps with that statement. I think that's just really important for you guys to hear.
Yeah, and we know that it's not easy, but it is so important to spend most of your time working on this culture in your home. More than anything else, more than sitting on that phone and looking at everything that they've done, creating a culture of open communication in your home really is where you need to spend the bulk of your time.
God woke me up this morning at 4:30 a.m., like literally this morning. And I got this image in my head, which was so weird because I really feel like I need to start dieting and exercising a lot more. Mm-hmm. And you know what God said to me at 4:30 a.m.? I'm laying in my bed thinking about all the diet changes I need to make in my life.
I am fat.
I literally was laying there like feeling my gut thinking, what do I need to do right now?
I press sometimes on my belly. I'm like, yep, we're there.
I need to cut out the cheese fries. I love cheese fries.
Darn you, Sonic.
I
and
love
your
cheese
sticks.
fries and ranch. Okay, so anyway, 4:30 a.m. And God literally said to me, Mandy, just like with diet and exercise, it's going to be the hard work. Like there are lots of supplements. Like you can do vitamins, you can do protein shakes, you can do weight, there's programs you can do and they're all helpful.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day with your health, it's about the hard work of diet and exercise.
Yes.
And he said that is just what Next Talk is about with open communication. I mean, there's all these tools on the market to help you and use all of them. Use all of them.
Yeah.
Use the tools. But at the end of the day, it's about doing the hard work and building the new culture in your home.
And you are not alone, I promise, when you're thinking to yourself, but I don't want to do it. It's hard. Yes, it is hard, but just like anything else, if you really want to protect your kids, which is more important than your body, more important than anything else, protecting your kids, if you want to do that, then the hard work is worth it.
Well, and it takes the fear out of it. Like if
The stress and anxiety, all of it.
If you get them coming home and telling you, I mean, no matter what they see, no matter what they hear, they come home and ask you.
Yes.
Now, you're going to freak out. You're going to be like, I hate answering this question because I hate that
you're going to freak out on the inside.
Yeah, on the inside, not
the
on the
outside.
outside. Parent filter. But the fear is gone because they're going to ask you.
Yes.
Right? And so I just want to set that up as like the premise of the show. Let's talk about the built-in restrictions.
Yeah, the free ones.
The free ones.
I always tell people, start with the free.
Yeah. All devices come with built-in restrictions. So whatever device you have, Google it. Parental controls for whatever. If it's an Amazon tablet, if it's, an Android, whatever. I'm an Apple user, so I'm in that all day long. They just upgraded last year. They have new screen time restrictions, and they're great.
Yes.
They're really good. They monitor your kids' phone use. Like you can see how much average a day they're on it. They give you a report for yours.
You can also see what they're on as well.
Mine is
detailed.
off the top. Crazy because I'm on it for work all the time. It's bad. It's bad.
I find that I'm trying to like compete with mine. Like every week, it's like you are on 30 minutes less. And I'm like, ooh, next week I'm going to be 45 minutes less.
You're competitive
I am
like
so
that.
competitive.
You
Pretty
are.
soon I'm just not even going to use my phone. I got to win.
No, you got to text me back when I have an emergency, Kim. You can't do that. I need you. Okay, so in Apple, if you go to settings, then go to screen time, then you're going to go to content and privacy restrictions. You're going to set a 4-digit passcode. Do not give that code to your kid.
Right.
Do not. Okay. And then you can actually set like movies to watch and download will be at PG.
Yes.
You can turn off explicit content.
Yes.
Like there's actually a thing that says explicit or clean for web content. And it's really great. Now, here's the loophole with this because there's always a loophole.
Always a loophole.
If your kid goes to Safari and starts searching, it is more than likely to catch it if it's pornography or something bad.
Right.
And they're going to come ask you for that 4-digit passcode. In fact, sometimes you'll have to enter the passcode even when it's not really pornographic. You know, so sometimes it gets kind of burdensome, I guess. But if they're within an app, so say they're within Instagram, it's not going to catch it.
Right.
It won't catch it because it's within Instagram. It's within an app, so it's not within the phone per se.
Yeah, the restrictions do not work in an app. So you just need to not think that you're safe because you have the restrictions set up.
Absolutely. So I just want to put that out there. So use those. I mean, I have those set on my phone and my kid's phone and our tablets at home. We have all those set. But again, I'm aware that they can see other things.
Absolutely.
And they have seen pornography on different apps.
Yeah.
So things slip through.
And it is important to do this. I meet a lot of parents all the time with young kids who say, well, I just didn't think that they would do anything. You know, we only use our tablet at the kitchen island, or we only do it all together. Well, I will tell you, just recently, we saw a naked woman on the computer together looking up hippopotamus for a science project. And we have the filters set. It just slipped through. And then I had a mom just come up to me recently who said, I just never imagined my kid would come in the middle of the night and grab the iPad off the kitchen counter. We only do it on the kitchen counter.
Google something.
Google something.
But they're curious.
Yeah, well, and he was actually Googling something that was good, and the ads on the side just sparked his curiosity, and he kept following, and it just goes down the the trail.
Right.
And before you know it, they're exposed to something. So even if you feel like you have a safe space for your electronics and that you only do it together or it's only in a public area, set these restrictions on everything, even your TV. Our TV has these restrictions.
Most cable companies have parental controls, because when we got a new cable package, we got all these free channels that we had never gotten, like pornography channels.
Absolutely.
And I didn't even know they were on there. And I'm going through and I'm seeing these titles and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
And they could just click on them.
Yes.
So I went into the parental controls and then I set up a 4-digit passcode. I mean, think about that when you redo your cable package or whatever, because you're going to get all those free channels.
And not only that, you can filter out what channels even show, because we had the parental control set up. And then one night I was looking for something, House Hunters, because that's my thing. And I'm looking and there was like, just the titles on there, you couldn't watch it, but the titles were enough to spark imagination.
Yes.
So we were able to block out certain channels where you can't even see the titles.
Yeah. Okay, so we're talking about general. Let's move on to like actual phone monitoring apps.
Yes.
That you can like pay a subscription for. Okay, so I want to just be real transparent here. This is a sticky place for us.
Yeah, it is.
People have asked us to partner with them and endorse their products, and I struggle with it.
Yeah.
I struggle with it because I'm so afraid that I'm going to endorse a product and say, use this one. Mm-hmm. And then 2 months later, that kid sees porn because parents thought it was going to catch it and it slipped through. So I just have a real hard time recommending and endorsing something when I know that they will all fail.
Well, and let's be honest, that the reason we do that and the reason we have taken that stance is because of human nature.
Yes.
Human nature is that, and I am the same way. You set the restrictions and you take your foot off the pedal.
Hands off the wheel.
We're good. This will catch it. This will do the job.
Yes.
I don't have to do all this work. And so we step away from the hard work.
It's like drive-through parenting. We want the easy answer.
We do.
It's like the miracle diet pill.
And I wish it was like that. It just doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
So we step back and we're no longer investing in this, creating this culture of open communication because we've got the filter and then things slip through and here we're back in the same spot again.
I can tell you this. I recently sat through a presentation of a new phone monitoring app that was being released just a couple weeks ago. And I loved the presenter because he said, we're providing a tool. Really, what is going to catch everything is the relationship with your kid. And they had this whole segment of their presentation. Yeah. And he was like, our product is coming alongside. And I was like, in the back, yes and amen. Yeah, you're doing the nextTalk message. Yes. And so, I would say when you're looking out for phone monitoring apps, look for those types of marketing. You should not subscribe to something that is like, we are going to solve all your digital parenting problems, because it is not. There is nothing out there. But if they are saying we can help your kids be safer, we can help you.
We want to be one of the tools to help you.
We want to come alongside you. I saw a review recently and it was a mom and she said, I'm using this app. I'm not going to say which one, but she said, I'm using this app, and that along with open communication has kept our kids safe.
There you
and
go.
I loved that.
Yes.
And so we just want to keep an open mind with that.
If you're just now tuning in, this is Next Talk Radio at 2 p.m. on AM 630, The Word. Next Talk Radio is sponsored in part by the Pax Financial Group and listeners just like you. Everything we do at our nonprofit to keep kids safe online is accomplished through your donations. To support our organization, go to nexttalk.org and click on Give.
There's big news if you are an investment client of USAA. Just recently, USAA announced that a Cleveland, Ohio corporation has entered into an agreement to purchase USAA Asset Management. They have always been an exceptional organization and will continue to serve our community well. But if you are considering a change, this might be the right time to look at San Antonio's Pax Financial Group. 210-881-5700, paxfinancialgroup.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Pax Financial Group.
Okay, so today we're talking about phone monitoring apps, and we just said, stay away from the ones that claim to do everything for you, because they should use language like, we're helping you, we're coming alongside you, we're trying to fill in a few gaps for you. But there's not one product on the market that does everything. And that's kind of our number one point. We're going to walk through like 5 things of loopholes that you need to really watch out for. And that is our number one. There's no app on the market that does everything you need it to do. And what I mean by that is the different products do different things. So you need to identify what you're trying to monitor.
Exactly.
There may be, you may want, if you have a kid who's driving, you may want a GPS one. So that's going to help you figure out where they are, how long they're at certain places. And I mean, this is a good tool because you don't want to text your kid while they're driving. You don't want them to try and respond to you.
Right.
So it kind of helps both of you out. You know, you can even say that to your kid. I don't want you to have to text me with this app. I just know, and I don't have to bother you all the time.
Absolutely. Maybe you want one to scan for nudity.
Yes. But and there are some out there, but they may not do the other things like catching buzzwords, or they may not do the GPS tracking.
Right.
You know, and so there's that. There's a couple on the market that will scan for keywords that they've identified, like cutting and suicide. Those are all great.
Yeah.
But again, sometimes that's not going to catch everything, and it's definitely not going to be. So you just need to look at what you're trying to do. Are you trying to monitor? Are you trying to track? Are you trying to identify what you're trying to do?
Yes. Okay, the second thing, you need to realize that you don't have access to everything because of privacy issues. You have like apps like Instagram and Snapchat. They do not allow third-party access to their direct messaging. And now this is something we've talked about a lot.
This gets a little complicated.
It does.
There's a lot of technical stuff in here that I'm still learning even, but I'm talked to a lot of app monitoring companies that, you know, have kind of helped explain this to me. So they don't allow access to third-party messaging, which is the DMs, the direct messaging. It's like private messaging in Facebook, but they're doing it in Instagram and Snapchat.
Yes.
And you can't access those. So unless you're logged into their account. So my whole thing for parents are just log into their account on your phone. It's super easy to do that through Instagram.
And you can toggle back and forth between your account and their account very easily, so you can constantly be checking it.
It's so easy. You can click the picture in the lower right bottom corner, like your profile picture. And then at the top middle, it's going to be your account name. You click that and you scroll down and it'll say add account. Well, you log into their account. And then, like you said, you can go back and forth. Then you have access to all the DMs and everything. And you're not charged anything. Now, you could do that plus also subscribe to one of these app monitoring tools. If you're worried about your kid commenting or liking on sexual content, on suicide or cutting, and you want to be alerted to that, you could do both and.
Absolutely.
And I think that would be a great tool to do.
You know, I hate to play the devil's advocate here, but I want to again say why open communication is so important, because your kid can have more than one account. They may give you the login information for their main account on Instagram, but they may have other accounts that they're not sharing with you. So it's really important, again, that you know that this is just a set of tools.
Yes, that is exactly right. I mean, you have to trust them to give you their login accounts. Back to the technical aspect about the privacy. So Apple has much stricter privacy restrictions than Android, Samsung. So there are ways around it on Samsung to get those DMs. And what I mean by that is, say there's an app monitoring app and you log in through their app.
Yes.
Okay. And it scans for nudity. If nudity pops up in the DMs, you will get notified through Samsung. Apple's kind of different. And so there are all these different type of loopholes. And that's why I'm saying, you know, you may not get everything.
Yeah.
And then you just need to be aware. A report is good, but you may not be getting everything.
Absolutely. I think it's important to number 3 here on our list. Most app monitoring devices require that your kids give you their login and passwords. And this kind of goes back to the point that I was making before.
Yes.
They may be hiding things from you. They may have different accounts. They may have hidden accounts, spam accounts. I mean, all kinds of things. You may think that you are doing a good job and that you've done all that you can to monitor them, but you may be monitoring only a portion of who they are in the online world.
And if your kids have spam accounts, that doesn't make them bad.
No,
let me just say that. Kids have a whole system. Yeah. So like on Instagram, they have their main account where they only like post like life changing events, like very important big things, mountaintop moments, you know. But then a spam account, they may joke every day.
Yeah.
They may post a meme about which is funny
Something
every day,
funny.
and that's acceptable. But if they were posting that on their main account, oh my gosh, like that's breaking all sorts of rules. And so they characterize little. So it doesn't mean they're bad kids, but yes, some of these app monitoring devices, you have to give your login and password. And so again, like you just said, Kim, if they have 4 spam accounts and they're only giving you one, you're just not getting it.
Yeah,
you're not getting the
picture.
monitoring that you think. So again, use the tools, but just recognize, again, there's a loophole.
Well, and there are also a lot of monitoring apps or programs where it only monitors when your child does something through that program. Do you know what I'm saying? Through the app. So
yes.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Yes. And that's the other thing. And a lot of that's how they work their way around all the privacy stuff we were talking about, that technical aspect, is that you log in through their app. Yeah. The problem is kids won't do it. So what I'm saying is you have to go to the app monitoring device, and then your kid has to go through Instagram through that one. They can't just click Instagram, or they have to go search things online through that. They're just not going to do it. And so again, you know, that sets up when they're little, maybe you could definitely, like, you only use this to search for things, and so that may be good. But teens, they know. And if they're really trying to hide something from you, they're just going to go to school and borrow their friend's phone or church or you know, youth group, whatever, borrow their friend's phone and log into their accounts that way, and then you have no monitoring control.
So
there's that aspect too,
which kind of brings us to our next point.
That brings us to number 4.
Even if you have all the products on your child's phone, your kid can be shown something from someone else's phone or told something from someone at the lunch table or on the playground. They're still going to be in their social circles, and their social circles have access to other things that you aren't going to know about.
If they want to hide things from you, they can.
They sure can.
They can.
It's a hard truth.
I mean, that is. And so again, that goes back to the first line of defense is the healthy balance of the relationship. 5, kids are digital natives. They are always going to be one step ahead of us with technology. I mean, I don't know about you, but like I'm on my phone a lot for work, and I'm learning it. But there are still things I don't know what to do, and I'll hand it to my kid, and in 2 seconds they do it. And I'm like, how did you know to do that? And they're like, well, everybody knows how to do that. Like, that's so simple.
You know, my kids don't have their own devices yet. They're young still.
Right.
And
you have family tablet, right?
Yes, we have family tablets. But even now, I could hand my phone to my kid, and they just intuitively know how to do it. And it reminds me of my mother-in-law and my mom, because we were raised on computers, you know, in school. Like I remember in kindergarten, we were doing the
floppy disk.
Yeah, the floppy disk.
I remember when the big floppy disk came out. And I remember my 4th grade teacher saying, this is going to change history. And I was like, whatever.
Yes. And I could not wait for computer time because we got to do the Oregon Trail. Did y'all do that? Oh, it was this game.
I don't remember
this. Tiny little icon of an Oregon on an Oregon Trail. You know, it was like digital, like very simple, simplistic, but we thought it was amazing. Awesome. Amazing. And I remember my mom and my mother-in-law trying to navigate through things like Word and whatnot. And because they weren't raised on it.
Yes.
It was so awkward for them to learn and difficult. And whereas we were raised on the computer.
I remember telling my mom, save it to the desktop. And she's like, what are you talking about? Like, that is foreign
just Control Alt Delete. My mom was like, say what? What is this language? Same thing.
It's so true. Our kids are like, what is Control Alt Delete?
Exactly.
Because everything's in the handheld device.
Everything is handheld, but this is all they know. You know, they are raised on this. So they are digital natives. Again, you could listen to our radio show about understanding their culture. You've got to understand it to be able to parent it well.
Well, and let's leave with a couple tips on how do you monitor then? Because I've left you with all these loopholes, and I feel like you're feeling a little hopeless here. So one is talk. I mean, you know that. It's our message. Follow us. We're trying to help you in any way create conversation in your home. 2, do random phone checks.
Yes.
Do random phone checks. When they first get their phone, this may be an every night thing.
As they get older, though, it'll be less, we promise.
Now my kid is in high school, and it's just ever so often.
Yeah.
I trust her. I've never found anything on her phone when I do a random phone check that she hasn't already told me about.
Yeah.
There's been bad stuff, but she's told me about it. So do random phone checks. With Instagram, be logged into your kid's account on your phone. It's super easy. You have access to all the DMs.
And it's free.
One thing I want to caution you on this, parents, if you are logged into them, be careful about looking at their DMs before they do, because it sends a notification to the group that you're seeing it. And if you do it, the people in the group are going to be like to your kid, why aren't you commenting? Why aren't you responding? I need your help. And so be careful with that.
That's a good tip.
That's one of the things that I tell my daughter. I'm like, I'm going to respect your privacy. I'm not going to look at him until you do. I'm going to give you that. But they pop up on my phone. I see them coming through. And then, I let her respond first before I check them out.
I like that tip.
And start early. Start early. And Kim, you're a perfect example here. You got little kids and you're already talking to them about it so that they know what to do when they get a phone.
They know it's normal and it's just second nature. Very important to do that. Our 3 tips. Phone monitoring apps are a tool. Use them, but it is not the first line of defense. And it's not about restrictions. It's about the relationship. That's our whole nextTalk message. And all monitoring apps will fail. The key is that your child will feel safe telling you.
Thanks for joining us on nextTalk Radio with Mandy and Kim on AM 630, The Word. You are not alone trying to figure out how to parent in this digital world. We are here with practical solutions to help you. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Find our video series and podcast at nexttalk.org. Are you ready for the Next Talk?